All right, guys, today we're gonna be making some beef jerky with a twist. Let's get right into it. The start of any good jerky is a nice marinade. Some people like to use dry seasonings. To me, it always turns out too salty, so I like to use a wet marinade. Basically, a bunch of liquid ingredients mixed together. You soak the meat overnight, and it turns out great. But today, we're gonna be doing two separate batches. We're gonna do one batch of regular, good old-fashioned pork jerky, and the other one is going to be some Cajun crawfish boil jerky. I've never done this before, so this is going to be a little bit of an experiment, but we're going to go ahead and see how it turns out. All right, so this is going to be our normal batch, and this over here is going to be our Louisiana batch. So the base of any is some kind of liquid smoke. That's something I do in every single marinade. Sometimes I'll throw in all kinds of random odds and ends. You can experiment. My mama is the one that taught me how to make beef jerky, and she would basically just take a handful of condiments from the fridge and just kind of throw them all into one mixture, and it always turned out great. So I always like to use Worcestershire sauce, some kind of spice element, so hot sauce, crushed red pepper, something like that, and then barbecue sauce. Now with barbecue sauce, you gotta water it down a lot, otherwise the jerky gets a little bit sticky, but I like using barbecue sauce. I've also got some Tex Joy steak seasoning. This stuff is one of my favorite seasonings aside from like Cajun seasoning, so that's gonna go ahead and go in there as well. Now I am gonna use a little bit of Worcestershire sauce also on the other one, the Louisiana batch, but for now we're gonna put most of this bottle into here. All right, we're just gonna pour almost all of it. I'm gonna go maybe about 3/4 of it. About that much, maybe a little more. Worcestershire sauce gives it a little bit of a zing that I really like. Now I'm gonna put in, I am making a couple big batches, so I'm gonna be using 2 things of liquid smoke. You can get away with just one, it just won't be quite as strong. There we go. You can also make homemade liquid smoke, which I've done before, and it turned out pretty good, but that's a video for another day. There we go. Now, I like to keep the bottles because I'm going to use some water to flush them out here in a little bit to get every last drop of flavor. So I keep the bottles, set them off to the side. I'm going to add a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes. I get a little bit, that'll marinate in there and give a little bit of spice. And then I'm going to use some barbecue sauce. Now I'm going to make sure I put quite a bit of water in here to cut the barbecue sauce. You don't want it to be super thick or it makes the jerky sticky once it's dehydrated. So I'll put a little bit of that, some steak seasoning. And now I'm going to fill these up with water and then dump that water in here. And I'm going to mix it all up and make sure the consistency is about what I want. There we go. All right, now I'm mixing it up and making sure all those flavors kind of melt together. I always make my wet marinade before I cut my meat. That way it has time to kind of simmer together. And that way everything has a chance to kind of melt together. And so when you put the meat in, it'll be a lot more uniform. All right, now I always try to make it a little bit stronger than you'd think. Don't try to water it down too much. If you got to add a little bit more liquid, I'd add more Worcestershire sauce, steak sauce, some kind of liquid to help build it up. But I think that's about good. We'll go ahead and set that aside. Now we're going to work on our Louisiana one. Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot to add some Louisiana hot sauce. I like to add hot sauce to most of mine, give it a little bit of kick. And I usually use quite a bit, so I like my beef jerky spicy. If you don't like yours spicy, you don't have to add that. All of these items are like interchangeable with whatever you like. If you like teriyaki, get some teriyaki sauce. If you like soy sauce, use soy sauce. If you like barbecue sauce, use more barbecue sauce. Whatever you want, the wet marinade can be done a million different ways and always turn out pretty good. Okay, now we're gonna make the Louisiana one, and I've never done this before, so I'm kind of interested to see how this is gonna work. Basically, I'm gonna start just like I did with the other. I'm gonna add some Worcestershire sauce. That gives it a nice little zing. Set this aside, I'll use this for my water here in a minute. Some liquid smoke. I think I'm only gonna do one because I don't want this to be a super smoky flavor. I want it to be more of a crawfish boil, so I'm just going to use one of these liquid smokes. And this is hickory. I tend to like hickory a little bit more than mesquite, but whatever you like is what you should get. Louisiana hot sauce, I'm going to put a good bit more than I put in the other one. So I kind of just do something like that. A little bit to taste. Now, Louisiana hot sauce isn't quite as spicy, but it's got a lot of that like vinegar zing to it. So it's pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and move on now to the devil's concoction. This is an extremely concentrated thing. Basically, in almost a gallon of water, you'd use 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon of this. Like, so this is super strong. So I'm gonna be very sparing with it, but we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take a little whiff of it. I usually use this kind of stuff. I don't use the concentrate very often. So I'm gonna play this by ear. Ooh, that clears up the sinuses, my goodness. That's gonna be strong. So we're gonna set that aside for now. I wanna make sure I don't put too much of this or this is going to be extremely painful. I'm gonna go ahead and add some we go ahead and add some crawfish and shrimp boil. So this, they call it crab boil, whatever. This is like the best brand. If you're wanting to do a Louisiana style crawfish boil, Zatarain's is the way to go. Louisiana Crawfish Company is pretty good too, but I'm a Zatarain's man all the way. That smells pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and add a good little bit here. I don't want to overdo it, but at the same time, I want it to taste like a crawfish boil. So add quite a bit of that. Now we're gonna do some potion mixing here with the concentrate. All right, so this is our Worcestershire bottle. I just put in some water to kind of rinse out any of that left over. And now it's time for some of this. So this stuff is super powerful and really, you're supposed to use, let me get a measuring spoon out. All right, just so you guys know, 2 of these spoons does half a gallon. Oh, I just spilled a little. All right, so there's 1, 2. So that's basically half a gallon worth. Now, spoiler alert, this is not half a gallon worth of marinade. So this is about to be strong. Also, you're not really supposed to use this and the crawfish boil seasoning, so this is going to be extra potent. I'm just kidding. Did you guys really think I was just going to do 2? We're making this extra Cajun. We're going to double it. Oh, I spilled extra too. That's going to be pungent. All right, I'm going to go ahead and now add this horrendous mixture. Now, I want to make sure that this thing is very, very Louisiana. So I'm going to taste it. Oh! Okay, that's hot. But it doesn't taste good. It tastes just like hot. So I need to add some crawfish boil. It just tastes like bitter. We need some more of this. Yeah, there we go. That'll do it. Maybe some crushed red pepper flakes. That'll fix it. All right, let's try again. All right, we're gonna go ahead and, oh dude, it's got foam on the top too, just like a crawfish boil would. Honestly, it just tastes off. I don't know. It's hot. It needs something. Maybe I shouldn't have used that Worcestershire sauce. I'm gonna cut it with a little more water and use more crawfish boil. All right, I think it just needs a lemon, so we're gonna cut a lemon real quick. There we go. And we're gonna squeeze some lemon juice into here. Let me get the seeds out, actually. Get some lemon juice in there. Now, in a genuine Cajun crawfish boil, you're gonna have lemons, potatoes, corn, all kinds of stuff in here. Obviously, I'm not gonna waste corn and potatoes in a marinade. That's not really gonna be consumed. But if I was doing an actual crawfish boil, there'd be some, oh, mushrooms too. Mushrooms are great. All right, we're gonna squeeze every last little bit of that lemon juice. I'm gonna taste it again. If it needs more crawfish boil, I'll add more crawfish boil here. Let's see, how much do they usually use? Okay, so this whole thing is used in 8 quarts of water. So I'd probably put about half of this package in here to make it extra pungent. But let me go ahead and do a little taste test. That's an improvement. It still doesn't taste like a crawfish. I'm gonna make sure it tastes like a crawfish boil. Oh gosh. Okay, it is hot. A good crawfish boil leaves your lips burning. So I'm on my way there. All right, moment of truth. Oh, that tastes like a crawfish boil. There we go. I can taste the crawfish now. Yeah. That needs some more crawfish boil. Yeah, more crawfish boil. There we go. That's what it needed. You know what? We're just gonna... No, I'm not gonna put too much. I mean, I already put too much, but... Oh, but let's see what it tastes like now. All right. Oh, that's strong. Okay, that's strong. I think it's ready. Now for meat choice, you can use all kinds of different stuff. I like to get some kind of lean roast. This right here is an extra lean boneless pork sirloin roast. I also like to use beef rump roasts and other things like that. You want to trim off any big pieces of fat and then slice into small skinny slices. I like to cut mine into more manageable sizes and then slice from there. And you can do this all by hand, or you can cheat like me and get a meat slicer. Now, I think I'm gonna start off by hand, but if I get tired of cutting by hand, I'll just move over to the meat slicer. I like to slice mine about this thin. You can slice it thicker or thinner, and that's just gonna change the dehydration time. And it also can have a little bit of effect on how much of the marinade gets absorbed. So that's about what I like to go for. That's usually pretty good for me. Now, some people will only ever make jerky out of beef, and you know, to each their own. To me, a pork roast can turn out just as good, and it's like half the price. So I like to use pork. If I'm doing this with grocery meat, you can also do this with wild game. So if you get a deer, you can make deer jerky, you can make coyote jerky, all kinds of stuff. I've not personally made coyote jerky yet, but I think that's something I'm gonna try next time I get a coyote. And I'd also like to try some other meats. So if there's any specific meat you guys wanna see me turn into jerky, let me know in the comments down below. But I like to use pretty much whatever meat I have on hand. It's just fattier meats don't tend to do as good. Now, you can leave fat deposits like that, but what that's going to do is it's going to make a little flavor bubble, and that's what I call them. And sometimes it's really good, and sometimes it tastes terrible. So, you know, at your own risk, whatever you want to do. I usually leave them in there, and if I don't like it, I'll just pick it off before I eat it. But sometimes when I have lots of fat like that, those little pieces, I'll save those and use them as coyote bait or something. So that's probably what I'll do with most of this. I'll trim off a little more meat, but for the most part, I'll take that fat and use it as bait. Now, when I get down to more small pieces like this that are kind of hard to slice thin, I'll make little nuggets, and I'll make those as like beef jerky nuggets. You can just keep slicing it down or cook that and eat that separately, but I like to make little nuggets of meat, and that'll be little beef jerky bites. All right. It's been about 20 minutes, and we've got everything cut up perfectly how I want it. All right, so we got all our meat done. Now I'm basically gonna lay it out in layers. And you want to make sure you can let all of that juice get on top and on the bottom of it. You don't want to just throw it all in there, or you'll have some pink spots that don't get marinated. You want to lay it out one piece at a time. I know it takes a little while, but it's so much better that way. So I'll put half in the crawfish pot and then half in the regular one. Now, a lot of times I'll take like a fork or something and kind of push them down as I'm going. Eventually, this is going to start filling up, and so you're going to start running low on space. So you just got to find a spot that's got some juice in it, lay it out flat, dunk it, and repeat. Now, some people like to marinate theirs for just a few hours. Personally, I like to do it overnight. So I'll start making it at night, like right now, and then in the morning, I'll actually put it from the fridge into the dehydrator, and that's always given me the best results. You can do it a little bit shorter or even longer if you wish, but that's going to affect the flavor in the end. I'm going to go ahead and leave this out for a little bit while I'm working on the other one, and I'll just periodically kind of dunk that down a little bit. All right, and basically do the same thing. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a mix. Ah, great. Oh well. Give it a little bit of a mix here, and do the same thing. Now this one smells a lot better, as far as like, it smells more like a beef jerky marinade. I am a huge fan of steak sauce, Worcestershire sauce, liquid smoke, barbecue sauce, and some kind of seasonings. That's always been like my favorite go-to recipe. But you can do it all kinds of different ways. My grandma does it different every time, and it always tastes good. So I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my mama for teaching me how to do this. Okay, well, I am running out of space in this container. I think I'm going to put the rest of that in the crawfish bowl. This is probably the strongest smelling marinade I've ever made. This is strong. Oh my goodness, being in the same room as this, you'll never have sinus problems again. This is strong smelling. All right, well, we're gonna let this marinate overnight. Basically, I'm gonna cover this with some tin foil, plastic wrap, something, put it in the fridge, wait approximately 12 hours, and then I'm gonna put it on the dehydrator. So I'll see you guys then. All right, so it's actually been 24 hours because I forgot to do it before I went to work this morning. So this is our crawfish one, and I know because I can smell it very strongly right now. Oh, golly. Okay, so basically we're gonna take the meat out and lay it onto our dehydrator. All right, so we have finished with loading up the crawfish one, and my goodness, I already can tell this is gonna be hot. But we still got plenty of space left in the dehydrator, so we're gonna go ahead and put some of the regular jerky. Whatever's left over, we'll just have to dehydrate tomorrow. All right, we are all loaded up. Now, here's the thing to look out for whenever you're making your own beef jerky. See that pink there? There's a few different spots. This was too clustered together, which means that a lot of pieces were stuck together and that marinade wasn't able to kind of penetrate there. So we do have this thing filled up. I'm gonna go ahead and dehydrate it anyways. And then I mixed this up so it'd be a lot more loose. I'm gonna continue letting that marinate overnight while this dehydrates. Basically, I'm gonna have my dehydrator set at the max setting and dehydrate it. Usually anywhere from 8 to 10 hours is pretty good. I just do it until it's fully done. All right, time for the big reveal. Boom. So this is the regular kind. It's pretty good. Okay, flavor on that one's really good. Let's go ahead and dig down and see how this crawfish one tastes. Already you can see a major difference. And you can see all that red. I'm gonna go ahead and get my reaction to this one on camera. All right, we've got our crawfish below. Oh, oh, oh. Salty. Duh. It's not even that spicy, it is salty. Okay. I'm gonna be real. Not that great. That is salty. Let's go give it to my friends. All right, they're about to taste the regular batch here. So y'all can go ahead and, did you already? Yeah, okay, they already took a bite. Give it a scale 1 to 10. Not my best work, but.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. 7.
7 out of 10. He gets 5 big booms. Okay. Let's do the crawfish jerky. All right, there you go.
It's not even as strong as I thought it was going to be. This is awesome. Are you selling this on your channel?
Nah.
The flavor's good.
It is.
Okay, so y'all like it?
Yeah.
I thought it was a little bit salty. Okay, well, I can't put that in the video.
You're like, you'll like it? You'll like it?
No, I thought it was a little bit salty.
It's a little salty. It's okay.
Bro poisoned it.
No,
That's what I'm thinking.
it's good though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well,
Try it?
look, I have the camera on my face now. I'll try it. Look, I thought maybe I had a bad piece earlier.
I mean, it's not too salty.
I don't know. I think it's really salty.
You put a whole bucket of
I did put like
crawfish seeds in there.
6 times the amount I should have. Well, I guess y'all can have that bag then. Well, I guess it definitely does taste like crawfish ball though. It's definitely got that flavor to it. So I'm happy with how it turned out.
What's the objective for today?
We're gonna do some fishing now. So I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, Jesus loves you. I love you. Have a great day. Go make jerky.